Hi guys, welcome to your Chapter 6, Lesson 3 notes on solving systems using elimination. Woo, it's the last of the 3 that we will be talking about. By the end of the day, you'll be able to solve systems by adding or subtracting to eliminate a variable. Keyword eliminate a variable. We've already eliminated one before, but this time it's cooler. Okay, anyway, as a quick recap, we've talked about three methods of solving systems of equations. 2 lessons ago, when we looked at graphing, we graphed one line and then another, and then we decided that their solution was right where they intersected. Last time, when we talked about substitution, we solved for one of the variables, and then we took whatever it's worth, plugged it in, or rather substituted, to give us an equation that had just one variable in it. So we took our second guy with 3x minus 4 times 2x minus 1, because that's what y is. And then we could solve this last equation for x, because we know how to solve an equation with one variable in it. We're going to do a very similar thing today, where we're still going to have an equation with one variable. But instead of substituting, we're just going to eliminate one. And what that will look like is we'll notice when two variables are about to cancel each other out. When like this will get rid of these y's, and then we'll take them, we'll add them up to give us 9x equals, I'm sorry, not 9x yet, but these two add up to get 9x. These two cancel out, so there's nothing equals 14. And then once we have 9x equals 14, we can solve this equation for x. So just like in substitution, when we substituted to eliminate a variable, now we'll add or subtract to eliminate a variable. So this is how we do it. First, look for variables that will cancel out. Sometimes it'll be the x. In this case, it is the y, because you have a plus 5 and a minus 5. So those are going to cancel each other up. We'll straight up add these two together, and then we'll add them. It'll be great. Going across, 2 plus 6 gives us an 8. Gives us an 8x. Negative 5 plus 5y minus 5y gives us nothing. And then 17 minus 9 gives us 8. Now that we have 8x equals 8, we can divide by 8 on both sides, giving us that x equals 1. Now that we know what x is, we can go back and we can plug it into any one of the equations. I'm going to pick the first one, 2x plus 5y equals 17, because everything's positive there and the numbers are smaller. So that's exciting. We've already discovered that x is 1, so that gives us 2 times 1 plus 5y equals 17. 2 times 1 is just 2, plus 5y equals 17 to get y all by himself. Let's subtract 2 from both sides. We're left with 5y equals 15, and finally, to get our y alone, divide by 5 on both sides, so y is 3. Now that we know what x is and what y is, we will put our final solution into our ordered pair. Again, your x goes first, your y comes second. So our solution is 1, 3. Nailed it. There you go. And of course, you want to plug your work back into your equation to see if it works. I already did. It's correct. There's another guy. Sometimes, let's look at this guy. Things don't cancel out very easily. So when you have variables that don't eliminate very easily, you have to multiply. And sometimes you'll have to multiply twice. In this case, you only have to multiply once. So the very first most important thing to remember is to label your equations. Make sure you're labeling them, and I always take my labels and I put them in a circle. So this is equation 1, and this is equation 2. Because what we're going to do is we're going to write down exactly what we want to do. So we'll take our second equation, and we'll notice that 5 and 15 are both divisible by 5. So if I multiply this times 3, I'll get 15y. So I'm going to start out with my first step. I'm going to say I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to multiply 3 times my second equation. And that gives me 3 times 7 is 21x. Minus 3 times 5 is 15y equals 3 times 17. Who picked this? Oh, 3 times 17 is not 32. That's what my notes say. Hold on. My notes are wrong, you guys. This was supposed to be a really fast lesson. 3 times 17 is 51. Oh, this is what I was looking at. I was looking at this there too. Just kidding. Okay. Okay, now that I have 3 times my second equation, you know what? I'm going to write that out real quick so you can see what I did. So I took my original equation of 7x minus 5y equals 17, which is equation number 2. And then I multiplied 3 times that whole thing. So 3 times 7 gives me 21, 3 times negative 5 gives me negative 15, and 3 times 17 equals 51. So now that I've got 3 times my second equation, I'm going to add that to equation number 1. So I'm going to take 3 times equation number 2 and add that to my first equation. My first equation was negative 2x plus 15y equals negative 32. I'm going to leave myself some space. Sweet. Now I can add these up. So let's line them up. 51 minus 32 gives me a negative, just kidding, a positive 19. 15y, negative 15y plus 15y. Those cancel out to give us 0. Don't even have to write 0. I'm not going to. Bye. And then finally, 21x minus 2x gives me 19x. Wow, that worked out super well. Guys, x is 1 again. I'm sorry I spoiled it. But that gives us 19x equals 19. We divide by 19 on both sides to give us x equals 1. Now that we know that x is, we can plug him back into one of our equations. Let's take our top one for funsies. Okay, so we'll plug him back into equation 1, which says negative 2x plus 15y equals negative 32. Again, what did we say x was? We said x was 1, giving us negative 2 plus 15y equals negative 32. I'm going to add 2 to both sides this time. So we get 15y equals negative 30. And then to solve for y, let's divide by 15 on both sides, giving us y equals negative 2. Awesome. So our final point here with our x and our y value, we get 1, negative 2. That is the basics of the elimination method. Here we only multiplied one equation. Sometimes you need to multiply 2 together so that you can get nice things. For example, if let's say that this was just a super funky number like 57, gross. A better approach would be to multiply our first equation by 7 and our second equation by 2 so that we would get negative 14x and 14x, and we could eliminate those two together. So there's a bonus little help. You can multiply several times to get you where you want. Yeah, that's it. Multiply to eliminate a variable. Have a great time on your homework.